This video is for questions 4 and 5 on the probability quiz to help you do corrections. So for number 4, a lot of people were a little bit confused on the wording of the probability and relative frequency and what they meant. So if you look at the first part, it said the probability of something, and that's just referring to the theoretical probability. The theoretical probability. And then the relative frequency is referring to the experimental probability, so what happens in the experiment. So the goal for this question is for you to figure out the relative frequency or the experimental probability as well as the theoretical. And we're going to start with the theoretical probability, what happens in theory. So in this question, it said that a coin is tossed 40 times and Russ gets 17 heads and 23 tails. So we want to find the theoretical probability. We don't even need that experiment to know what happened. So out of 40 times, we know that he tossed. We want to figure out, in theory, how many times you would expect him to get heads. So you can answer that part on your own. You just need the numerator. How many times you would expect him to get heads out of 40 times. Then for the experimental probability, that will also be out of 40 because we know that it was tossed 40 times. All you need to do is fill in, based on the experiment in that question, how many times he got heads. It's right there for you. You just fill it in. Then to find the percent, because the question is answered in percent, you just need to make these fractions percents. So you do numerator divided by denominator times 100. So some number divided by 40 times 100, once when you fill in those denominators. So then you'll have 2%. This is the theoretical and then the experimental in that order, and you should find the one that matches in the multiple choice. Question 5. You have a die that is rolled 60 times, and you need to find the best prediction of the number of times Hal will roll a 3 or a 6. So first we want to find the probability of rolling a 3 or a 6. So if you think about how often the probability of just rolling a 3 would be 1/6. Just rolling a 6 would be 1/6. So if you can have either one as something that will work, your probability would just be 2 out of 6. Because either one is a favorable outcome, you can have 2. So 2 out of 6 is your probability. Well, then using that, you want to set up a proportion. So this is going to equal some other fraction. Well, you know in total that it's out of 6 times in this first probability. Well, the next time the total is going to be out of 60 because it said that the die is rolled 60 times. So you're going to use that knowledge to solve for an x. So you'll have part over whole equals another part over the whole, which is 60, and then solve for x. So once when you have your answer, though, remember that this is an experiment. So you will get an exact answer, but because this is an experiment, you can only expect your answer to be about that much or roughly that much. So keep that in mind when you're circling the correct answer after you've solved for x. And that is how you do number 5.